United States Coast Guard, United States Coast Guard, vessel Blue, man overboard, 1 mile south.
Okay, here it is.
Point buoy, 2 pieces in the water holding onto a life.
Look at that.
This is the U.S. Coast Guard. Understand you see the 2 people
That
in
right
the water
there just
over?
gives you chills.
2 of our crew members are in the water, 1 mile south.
Life or death is a matter of seconds and minutes.
Sailing vessel Blue, this is the U.S. Coast Guard. Understand, do you see the 2 people in the water over?
We are working on stabilizing the boat to recover the crew members.
An old Coast Guard saying, you gotta go out.
But you don't have to come back.
So how bad does it get?
Bad.
How important is timing?
Timing is everything.
South Luke there from the Coast Guard. Roger, Captain. Stand by. Our 47 will make contact with you shortly. Do you have visual on them?
Did you get that?
I'm about to. Okay.
Okay. Back in the 90s, the Coast Guard used to come out with the charters when they'd get, caught in some big waves, and they'd go out there and try to break them down for them to help out and kind of minimize the sea breaks on them. You can see it in this clip here. Prime Time's gonna take one over the bow, and then the 44, boom.
So the Coast Guard right there is breaking down.
Yep, just trying to break down the waves, steepness of it, and that particular boat does a pretty good job.
Hello, I am Senior Chief Amber Archer. I'm the OIC of Station Depoe Bay, also known as the Hole in the Wall Gang, home of 2 47-foot motor lifeboats and the smallest harbor in the world.
Depoe Bay has a long storied fishing history going back to the early 1900s. In the mid-20th century, local commercial fishermen began taking recreational anglers out on trips, giving rise to today's robust charter industry. Despite its small size, Depoe Bay's harbor remains active year-round, drawing in visitors for bottom fishing, halibut, salmon, tuna, and whale watching. The harbor's infamous bar crossing, narrow, rocky, and often turbulent, requires expert seamanship. The U.S. Coast Guard has maintained a presence here since the early 1940s, operating a small but vital station that provides search and rescue services and ensures maritime safety along this stretch of the Oregon coast. Their watchful eye over the treacherous bar crossing underscores the harbor's importance as both a fishing hub and an economic lifeline for the community. Dockside charters and tradewinds charters are vital to Depoe Bay's economy because they drive so much of the town's tourism and commercial activity. These charter companies bring in thousands of visitors each year for fishing, crabbing, and whale watching, supporting local restaurants, shops, and lodging. They provide steady employment for captains, deckhands, office staff, and related marine services, helping sustain a working waterfront and a small coastal community. Their operations also preserve Depoe Bay's identity as a fishing port.
Without tourism dollars, Depoe Bay doesn't survive. And we need the Coast Guard here, so we're allowed to do our job. So the question is, how do we get out of the hole safely, in and out? Well, let's talk to the U.S. Coast Guard.
I've been up and down the coast at Station Tillamook Bay, down in Station Coos Bay, and throughout a few of the other bars in our area. And I would say Station Depoe Bay is absolutely one of the most technically challenging bars that I've had to transit. And that's just straight due to the size of our entrance, how close that we have to sit, about 20 to 30 feet off of our seawall before we're able to make our entrance on that side of it, where we're going to be encountering anywhere between 8 to 10 foot, breaks as we come in the channel on those big days.
World's smallest natural navigable harbor, that way. World's largest ocean, that way. What separates the two? A 50-foot gap that's only 7 foot in depth. That's on a good day. The hole.
My name is Captain Dan Booner Zimmerman. I've been captaining out of Depoe Bay since 1985, my 40th year. The main concern I have when I'm transiting the bar, especially when it's a little bit questionable, is something mechanical happening to the boat. I have all the confidence in my ability to do it, but if something were to go wrong with the boat, it's all out the door.
Coming in the Depoe Bay is the real scariest part because in the middle grounds, from about halfway in, like from the bell buoy, it can get really, really nasty in there. And with a smaller boat, you know, like a 6-pack boat, which is the one that I run, like when you're crossing that bar, especially with a smaller rudder like I have, you know, like if you get hit kind of by a wave coming in, it'll push you left or right, and that's pretty scary.
On top of a wave and falls off the wave, which is kind of a no-no. But right here, look how much boat's out of the water. Then he throttles it up. So when you have the sound on right here, you can see right there the smoke. He just puts the coals to it and throttles it up. It's an awesome sound. Like that gives you chills alone. But he pulled, look right here, he pulls the throttles back and he's going right towards the rocks right over there.
Today, I'm suiting up and getting underway with the U.S. Coast Guard's legendary Hole-in-the-Wall Gang, a unit of expert surfmen. Their workhorse, a 47-foot motor lifeboat that some say is unsinkable.
I'm BM2 Bebo. I'm a qualified surfman here at the Hole-in-the-Wall Gang. We have 2 47-foot motor lifeboats on station. Each one has twin Detroit diesel engines, and they each have just under 500 horsepower. The boats also have self-righting capabilities, and all that means is that if it gets knocked down or capsized, it's able to come back up.
These men and women of the U.S. Coast Guard's Hole-in-the-Wall Gang are experts at transiting the hole. This is how you properly do it.
Heading outbound. You guys good? Wake out the whole harbor. I wait to come up in speed, but I really need throttles up so I have.
The hole is a 100-foot dog leg, 50 foot in width and 7 feet on average in depth. Getting out is the easy part. Transiting the hole in all conditions is vital to the U.S. Coast Guard's operations, specifically search and rescue. Today, the Hole-in-the-Wall Gang is practicing a man overboard drill.
I'd say that like the hardest part of a man overboard drill is really just recovering that person in a timely fashion. The Coast Guard standard is 3 minutes to get them back on board. But you know, with the cold water up in the Pacific Northwest, really every second matters. So we're trying to get them as quickly as possible back on the boat so we can administer first aid.
Oregon's ocean waters remain cold year-round, even during the summer months, with temperatures often in the
Man
low
overboard,
50s.
off your stern!
When immersed in water that is 50 degrees or cooler, exhaustion or unconsciousness can set in within 30 to 60 minutes, and the expected survival time is 1 to 3 hours. Considering finding somebody out here in the vast ocean is like finding a needle in a haystack, every second counts.
Back so far away from it. Like we start training our basic coxswains with the same exact maneuvers that they're going to be using for heavy weather and surf. So then they have already had those techniques drilled into them for the entire time that they've been breaking in. And when they go to that heavy weather and surf conditions, they know the techniques. Now it's just applying a little bit more power, a little bit more helm to be able to perform the exact same technique.
The U.S. Coast Guard's motto is Semper Paratus, meaning always ready. And the Hole-in-the-Wall Gang is training 7 days a week, rain or shine, for maneuvers, heavy weather conditions, towing operations, and search and rescue. But none of that matters unless they can get back into the hole. In the short amount of time that we were out, the conditions have changed. The wind is now blowing straight from the north and pushing the boat off course.
So we've come inbound, I've stopped here, set up on range, and pointed into
Beam 2 Bebo has to time this precisely. The wind is pushing the boat south, and the current behind it is pushing the boat towards the rocks.
A couple more of the series waves. Those are the waves with the biggest energy. So now I've taken my wave, one back. I engage my throttles, clutch ahead.
The aerated bar leaves little for the props to grab hold to. Once he commits, there is no going back.
Coming on the back. Center channel. It's really, really prominent right now because of low tide. But if it's any more water in the channel, those rocks will get covered with water and it becomes a lot harder to actually stay center channel. You lose those reference points.
When we're sitting there is, we're just holding position and we're watching that series. Usually I like to wait and watch the first series roll through to see exactly what the conditions are in the hole on the series. And then after that, we're looking just for that lull on a good wave that has a decent enough spacing between the wave behind it where we can get on the back of one and ride in with that so that we're not getting pushed astern, because if we're getting pushed from the stern, that's where things will start to get a little bit dicey.
The hole, Depoe Bay, Oregon, nothing else like it in the world. Today's U.S. Coast Guard says you got to go out, but you must come back. And we're sure glad they do. Hole in the Wall gang will conduct up to 50, 60 operations out of this channel every year. Pretty impressive. To my viewer, if you're thinking about coming out here, check your forecast and take your time. To the U.S. Coast Guard, thank you for allowing me to film. And to the Hole in the Wall gang, stay safe. See you guys out there. Thanks for watching.
United States Coast Guard, United States Coast Guard.